Hey folks, I know this is going to sound crazy, but today I want to show you how to raise your earning power to $500 an hour. Now I call it the $500 an hour formula because for most people in most careers, that's where they end up. But I've got commercial real estate investors that are at $3,000 an hour. I've got nonprofit executives that have gone up to $5,000 an hour. So I can't guarantee it's going to be $500 for you, but for most people, this is where it tends to end up. Now, in order to get some clarity on how to apply this formula that I'm about to show you on the next page here in your line of work, we need to get clear on two different concepts: making it rain versus bringing in the harvest. Making it rain has to do with marketing and sales. What causes a deal to come in the pipeline for your line of work? If you're a realtor, what causes somebody to reach out to you to hire you? If you're a coffee shop owner, what causes somebody to walk in the door to order from you? Now this concept from attracting leads, lead generation, sales, marketing is very different from bringing in the harvest. This has to do with taking care of your customers, fulfilling the product orders, servicing the contract with the customers, fulfilling the agreements. Bringing in the harvest tends to be things that are manually labor intensive, like fulfilling contracts, emailing, phone calling, scheduling, rescheduling, handling questions, troubleshooting, that kind of thing, that kind of service. Because they tend to be more manually labor intensive, they tend to pay lower. You can train somebody how to fill out the contract. You can train somebody how to answer these common questions that customers have. You can train somebody how to schedule and reschedule. And because you're training them how to do it, you can often outsource those things for $10 or $15 an hour. Making it rain, though, is a little bit different, and that tends to pay a lot more because this is very limited. In order to do more harvesting, you have to add more hours to the pipeline. You have to add more people to the pipeline. In order to make it rain, in order to bring in more leads, attract more customers, get more people in the pipeline, you just have to think at a higher level. Instead of presenting your offer one-on-one, what if you started to present from stages? Now you're presenting one-on-many. Instead of having your sales conversations one-on-one, what if you started to have those sales conversations one-on-many by putting together digital funnels and ascension models and speaking from the stage or having a book or a back of the room offer or something like that? Now you can scale at a higher level. This is another reason there's no limit on this, and it also pays a lot more. Okay, with those two concepts, the difference between attracting a lead and taking care of that lead, very different. A lot of people say, oh, but it's not a fair equation when I turn the page because I still have to take care of that customer. No, the only reason you're still taking care of doing all the emailing and contract and fulfillment and all that is because you feel like you don't have enough money to hire somebody to do that. And the only reason there's not enough money to hire is because you're spending your time more than likely on these lower paying items, $10, $15, $20 an hour that could be outsourced. The more time you spend making it rain, the more income there is to outsource these other things. All right, let's take a look at the formula and how you can apply this in your line of work. All right, $500 an hour, P divided by M equals V. For the P, we gotta get clear on the lifetime value of your product. Let's say that you're a realtor. When somebody buys a house from you, on average, what is that commission worth for the lifetime of the customer? Sure, some customers come into your life and they leave. Some customers come in, but they stay in the town, and every couple of years they're hitting you up or referring you. So on average, what's the lifetime value of a product? Let's say you're an e-com. Some people buy from you and they never buy again. But some people buy from you and then they buy the next thing and they buy the next thing. So on average, what is the lifetime value of a customer who comes into your e-com life? Lifetime value. Then we want to look at the metrics. How many of what action lead to that lifetime value? Let's say that you are a realtor and the average value of a deal, average commission for you is $5,000. Okay, how many of what action does it take to get that $5,000 in? When you say, well, you know, I usually get most of my leads from going to networking events. Okay, on average, how many networking events do you have to go to, on average, before somebody signs a house with you? They say, well, you know, I usually go to about 2 a week, and I'm at those for about an hour each, so that's about 2 hours a week. And when I do that for 5 or 6 weeks, I usually get a new listing. So we divide that 10 hours spent networking into the 5,000 that the lifetime value is, and we end up with your time when it's networking as a realtor is worth $500 an hour. We'll say that you're a speaker and your average price to speak is $10,000. Okay, let's say that you're a lower price speaker. Let's say that you're in the $5,000 range, but you've got a great offer while you're there that people sign up. They go to the back of the room to sign up for your book or your video course or come to your event or whatever it is, and that makes up the difference. So you're back up to 10,000 as a speaker. Okay, remember the difference between rain and harvest. How many of what action does it take to get you booked as a speaker? What causes that new lead to come into your life? You say, well, I tend to get booked as a speaker when I'm making cold calls to associations, state associations, to find out when they're hiring. And on average, 1 in 20 people that I talk to happens to be hiring at the time that I call. So 1 in 20 gets me 5,000 booked to speak, and then another 5,000 in residual spin-off back of the room kind of income. Meaning every person I talk to as a speaker is worth $500. I get paid $500 for every person I speak to. What this PM to get to the true value of your time formula has to do with is just getting clear on the difference between bringing in a lead and then taking care of that lead, and spending more of your day nurturing those sales and marketing, learning how to think at a higher level so you're reaching more people, making a bigger difference, and then taking that extra money, because that's higher paying work, and outsourcing the contract fulfillment and taking care of the customer, answering the questions, scheduling, emailing, all that kind of thing. The more you do with rain, the less you do with harvest, the closer we get to that $500 an hour mark. If you have any questions about how to apply this in your line of work, just hit me up, send me a message. I would love to help however I can, because I want to see you at that $500 an hour mark as well. Take care, my friends.